Mainstream journalists are beginning to take note that a trip to Disney is getting prohibitively expensive, especially for middle-class families, and know if you're lower than that, there's no chance you're going to Disney unless somebody is gifting you a ticket. Today, we'll tell you why that has been a real pain for the House of Mouse as they try to explain why the crowds are largely gone. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we endeavor to give you the reality that is everything entertainment. And oftentimes that comes down to Disney because Disney is the biggest entertainment company on planet Earth. Folks, as we get ready to dive into today's content, consider clicking that like button. We begin today out of CNBC. This is Devin Burrus, our author, and it says why a Disney vacation may have gotten too pricey for the average American family. Folks, as I go through the list of videos that we've put out on this channel recently, I begin to notice something, and that is that we have largely had negative coverage of the Disney company over the past many months. There have been significant exceptions to that. Deadpool and Wolverine, we gave many glowing videos of that and positive feedback in terms of the review. Same thing with Inside Out 2. Same thing with X-Men 97. However, this is a company now that has dropped 60% of its value. Its stock price down 60% approximately over the past 3 years, from a high of about $200 per share now to hovering in the high 80s, low 90s. So if you wonder, why does the Pro Channel have a negative outlook on Disney? Well, that's why. Because we're trying to be accurate, and we wish that Disney was doing positive things that were putting it in a better light and a stronger financial position. And with Inside Out 2, perhaps that's the beginning of it. But then we get Agatha's, and we get the mismanagement of the Disney parks. Let's read this article together, folks, and I think you'll find it fascinating, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty numbers and show you exactly what's going on. The U.S. travel sector has been surprisingly resilient when it comes to travel. Now, I like this because this is a preface to the rest of the article that lets you know that what is happening to Disney is not what is happening to the rest of travel and tourism. Domestic travel numbers have returned to pre-pandemic levels, and air travel has even surged as more than a third of travelers plan to take on debt for summer trips. And folks, I can't give you financial advice. I can just tell you I don't have any plans of going in debt for summer trips. Now, if you want to put a little bit on the credit card, you do you. But Pro is not going to be a slave to the debtors because I am wanting to go to some sort of hotel room that gives me the feeling of prestige for an extra few days. No. However, inflation-weary consumers might be taking their money elsewhere when it comes to theme parks. In its 2024 third quarter results, Disney blamed a softening consumer environment for sliding demand in its theme parks. Domestic parks, which include Walt Disney World and Disneyland, saw a 6% drop in operating profits, despite revenue climbing 3% compared with the year prior, the company said. Now, I'd like to pause here and make a particularly important note. The reason that dropping 6% of operating profits for these two parks, or these two resorts, is so important is because, one, we're talking about the largest entertainment company in the world, and primarily, although this is often not reported, primarily Disney is a theme park company. That should give you some idea of how big the theme parks are, because this is also a company that makes huge movies and puts out more blockbusters than anybody else. In fact, Disney might put out more blockbusters in a normal pre-pandemic year than all other studios combined. Let that sink in. And yet, the theme parks are bigger. Now, the theme parks are so big that the Walt Disney World Resort is basically 1/3 of all of the Disney company's profits in a given year. And Disneyland, by the way, adds in to get that relatively, close to half. And that's because outside of the domestic parks, the international parks bring in minuscule numbers. So when Disney World and Disneyland drop 6%, that is the biggest asset that the company has. This is the biggest entertainment company in the world, and these are its biggest assets. Disney World by far bigger than Disneyland, but Disneyland still important. So when you have a 6% decline, that's huge for this company. Anywho, Universal Studios parent company Comcast reported a nearly 11% drop in theme park revenue driven by lower attendance in that same period, its fiscal second quarter. Now, not well noted in this article, or even noted at all, although it's no fault of the author. They don't have to say this. Part of Comcast's drop for Universal Studios is that many families are waiting until Epic Universe opens. This is a normal phenomenon that we see with theme parks. When a resort is about to open a new theme park, you'll see families hold off until until it opens. And that's very normal. Back when Disney was opening new parks often, we would see this. And it also, to a lesser degree, happens if there's a huge expansion coming. So you could go back and you could look at Universal Studios numbers prior to Harry Potter opening, and you would find a slight decline because people were waiting for Harry Potter before they wanted to spend their money to go on the trip. Makes sense. Says, I think what we're seeing is consumers have a lot of choices and that they're making thoughtful decisions as to where they want to go, said Disneyland Resort President Ken Podrick. By the way, that's always true, which means it's a competitive environment, which means that we need to be smart and thoughtful about making sure we're listening to what their needs are and how we appeal to their needs. That's also always true. That's just it's a non-statement. While Disney parks are still the most visited theme parks in the world with 142 million visitors globally in 2023, ticket prices and the cost burden of visiting a theme park of Disney have been rising. A one-day single park ticket for Walt Disney World has climbed on average 5% per year over the past 10 years. Between 2014 and 2024, the average cost for a single day Walt Disney World ticket inflated 56%, according to Wolf Research. That is well above the national rate of inflation at 32%. However, folks, that is nothing compared to the actual real cost of going to a Disney park these days. Going to Disney World no longer just involves buying a ticket. You also have to factor in the cost of parking if you're driving. You also have to factor in the cost of hotel if you're going to try and avoid that parking cost. You also have to include the cost of Genie Plus, which allows you to ride the rides you thought you could ride because you bought the ticket to let you ride, but oh wait, it doesn't. So you got to get this extra thing that's on your phone. The costs of everything have skyrocketed, and the tickets have been kept in check for PR reasons. So basically the way this is working now is Disney has offloaded the ticket increases they would like to give you. They've put that on the back end now. And they give these things to you that are seen as additional perks that once upon a time were free, by the way. Additional perks. And then they do everything in their power, it seems to me, to ensure that you at least psychologically feel like you have to have that in order to enjoy the vacation. In order to get the value of the ticket you just paid, you've got to add another $15, $20 per person per day. And that's just the start. On the other hand, the price of Disney World and Disneyland's cheapest ticket has remained steady since 2019. And again, this is a PR reason. We'll talk about it in just a moment. A Disney World one day, one park, one off-peak ticket will cost a park goer just $109. And Disneyland is only $104. But on average, a one-day ticket at Disney World costs $154, according to Wolf Research. And a Magic Kingdom ticket, that's the one everybody wants to go to, can cost as much as $189 during peak travel times. Folks, that $109 ticket for the off-peak times, that you'll almost never see that. It's a few days out of the year. And the reason that it exists is so that Disney can say as low as $109. It's marketing. And they put it out a few times a year just so the marketing can still say, get a Disney World ticket today as low as $109, starting at $109. You get the idea. All right, so let's take a look at what this is pragmatically doing to Disney, okay? So let's get into the effect of it all. This is ThrillData.com. If you've visited this channel before, you may have seen us use this. It takes all of the wait times for all of the rides across Disney World, and then it averages them together. Those wait times, by the way, are posted by Disney, so they're public access. And I will tell you this, there is quite a bit of scrutiny now on Disney because many feel that those wait times are not even close to correct. And we hope to have coverage of that coming out real soon. Still, despite all of that, September of 2024, as you can see on the chart, 26 minutes is the average wait time, and that is the lowest we have seen since September of 2021. I would remind everybody as well that all of 2020 and all of 2021 are essentially meaningless. We love that they keep track of this on Thrill Data, but you can throw out these 2 years. That's really a year and a half, but you can throw them out. And the reason you can throw them out is because Disney World and Disneyland were not operating with normal operations or the normal way that attractions function in the post-pandemic era, or during the pandemic era, I suppose. They were not operating at capacity. The rides were not allowed to operate at capacity. They spaced out the queue lines. Everything was messed up. So you have to start in 2022 to really start getting good data again that's comparable to what we have today. And of course, this 26-minute wait in September average is historically the lowest we have seen since operations returned to normal. So how low is that? Well, let's take a look at what things are, how things are going at the various parks at Disney right now. So we're waiting just until the deadline to do this because we want to get the most accurate wait times we can before we put this video out. So at the time of this video's release, this is about 25 minutes before we release the video. I know that's going to be a South Park style rush to get this done. But looking at Magic Kingdom, Astro Orbiter is 5 minutes. Barnstormer is 5 minutes. By the way, folks, when you see 5 minutes, that doesn't mean that there's actually 5 minutes of waiting. That is a walk-on. Disney refuses to put 0 minutes, which would indicate nobody's in line. And that's also why when you see those average wait times drop down to 26 minutes, it starts getting funky as you get lower and lower because the number cannot drop below 5. So the lower the number goes in terms of the average, the closer you're getting to numbers that are completely skewed. And also, by the way, there's a lot of times at the end of the day in the parks when they will not drop the wait time below 15 for the major rides because, well, I won't tell you what they're trying to dissuade, but maybe they're trying to dissuade something, my opinion. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, one of the big attractions at Magic Kingdom, only a 15-minute wait. That might mean it's still a walk-on, by the way. Buzz Lightyear, 5 minutes. Dumbo, 5 minutes. Enchanted Tales with Belle, 15. Haunted Mansion, hey, Haunted Mansion, you're at 20. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, hey, you're at 20. Meet Cinderella and a Visiting Princess at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, 30 minutes. Peter Pan's Flight, which traditionally has the longest wait times, 35 minutes. It usually competes with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is at 45 minutes. Okay, so this is a Friday that we're releasing this video on. Fridays are part of a 3-day weekend when people want to take off to go enjoy a vacation. So you would think that on a Friday that you would have longer times. And by the way, we're not trying to cheat. We're not doing this at park opening. That's why we told you when we're doing this. At the time of recording, it's 10:08 a.m. Eastern time. So it's been an hour of people getting into the parks, getting ready. Let's take a look at Epcot. Over at Epcot, Frozen Ever After, 50 minutes. Grand Fiesta Tour, Walk On, Guardians of the Galaxy. They won't let you ride this without either hitting the lottery or paying the money. Journey into Imagination, Walk On. Living with the Land, Walk On. Meet Mickey, 35 minutes. Mission Space, essentially a walk on. Remy's Ratatouille is a 1-hour wait. Soarin' is a 35-minute wait. Spaceship Earth is a 20-minute wait. And as you can see, Seas with Nemo and Friends is having problems. And you can also see that if you go to Epcot today, and this is one of the biggest problems, Disney spent $1 billion or more, way more, on Epcot to make it better. And here's how many attractions you've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 attractions. 10 things to do at Epcot. No, we're not counting getting to meet a character. Over at Hollywood Studios, again, on a Friday morning, 10 a.m. Well, actually 10:10 at this point. So plenty of time for folks to get in there and get in line. Alien Swirling Saucers, 25 minutes. We're not counting the meeting the character stuff again. Runaway Railway, 45 minutes. Millennium Falcon, 45 minutes. Muppet Vision, walk in there. Rock and Roller Coaster, 45 minutes. Slinky Dog, over an hour. So you can see that Hollywood Studios is kind of crammed. So that's good for that park, except that there's no rides again. Let's count how many again. Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, 1, 2, 3, not counting Chewie. 4, 5, 6. We'll count Muppet Vision. 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 attractions at Hollywood Studios. 10 attractions. We're not counting meet and greets. I talked with Jonas recently. He went to Dollywood and he was so impressed with Dollywood, the theme park that continuously wins the best theme park in the world awards. Dollywood has something like 40 to 50 attractions. Disneyland, same thing. Disneyland proper has a huge number of attractions. And then you've got these. Epcot and Hollywood Studios. There's nothing to do. The wait times are long because there's nothing to do. Over at Animal Kingdom right now, Avatar, Flight of Passage, 85 minutes. Dinosaur, 45 minutes. Expedition Everest, 30 minutes. Tough to Be a Bug, walk in there. Kali River Rapids, basically walk on. Kilimanjaro Safaris, 75 minutes. Navi River Journey, 70 minutes. And Triceratops Spin is walk on. Let's count them again, folks. Here's what we've got. Things to do at Animal Kingdom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 attractions for you at Animal Kingdom right now. 8. There are 8 things to do. You should start dividing the cost of your day by 8 if you're at Animal Kingdom to determine what the average cost is you're spending per attraction that you go do. And add on those Genie Plus numbers if you're spending it. Poor Animal Kingdom. By the way, Animal Kingdom, there are things to do like going and seeing animals. And I only hope that when they do this this expansion where it's going to be, well, it's not really an expansion, it's a redo, where they change Dino Land to being a Central America / South American expose of culture and animals. I hope they remember to put animals in there because we've heard things about it. Last article, folks, I want to show you this. This out of thatparkplace.com. If you're not yet bookmarked, well, you should be. Walt Disney World's Tron roller coaster sees low wait times after switching to standby queue, while various rides at Disneyland have no lines. One of the reasons that Magic Kingdom's wait times are dropping is because Tron has switched now to being a regular standby ride. And what that means is that the virtual queue is no longer used, which is this system by which you pay money or you win the lottery to get to ride this. And when Disney switches to a standby queue, not only do you find out that this ride is not super popular, and it might be the case that other rides under this same structure are also likewise not very popular, but also, as people can ride more rides, the wait times go down. Now, all of this is to say, folks, that crowd levels at Disney are nowhere near what they should be. And there are two factors happening that are causing Disney to lose those crowd levels. Maybe a few more, but two big ones. Big one, number one, from the article we talked about first. And that is prices are insane. They have outstripped historic inflation. Okay? Inflation has caused your dollar menu to change to a $5 menu. And yet Disney prices and costs have just blown inflation out of the water. And the second thing that's causing Disney crowds to disappear, well, there's nothing to do when you get there. And that's the two stories that are driving this historically empty September for the Disney parks. And note that Disney is not saying that this is going to get better anytime soon. And that should have investors freaked out because Epic Universe is coming and it will reset the expectations of what a theme park can be and how much money it can make in Central Florida in 2025. Folks, we'll have some advice for those of you who want to go and enjoy a completely empty Disney World. We'll have some advice coming up real soon on how you can save money. It's a member request, and we're happy to provide that information to you. So be looking for a video coming out real soon about how you can go to Disney for cheap. We won't be able to give out the very best tips because if we did, we're afraid Disney would end the ways that you can save the biggest amounts. Maybe we'll put it on the Patreon somewhere a little bit more secretive. We'll let you know. All right, folks, until the next time, we hope that you'll leave this video by clicking and sticking it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Also, like, share, and subscribe. And folks, we would love to have a comment from you. Share in the community dialogue that is down below. Until the next time, we will see you very soon. Keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube.
Huh?
Vacation Radio. WDW Pro's music channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga.
He's Jose.
That one seems a little bit foreign to you.